Lord, I dedicate this baby to you. Please let him breathe.
The emergency wing of the hospital was unlike anything most people had ever seen. It was enormous bright white lights, fast-moving doctors, and the constant sound of machines echoing through the halls. This was one of the most expensive hospitals in the city, where only the wealthy could afford care. That morning, something had gone terribly wrong. "Clear the room!" a doctor shouted urgently. On the hospital bed lay a fragile baby boy, barely a few months old. His tiny chest wasn't moving. The machines beside him had gone silent. Standing nearby was his father, a powerful billionaire known across the country. But in that moment, he was just a broken man. His wife had died during childbirth months ago. The baby had survived, becoming the only piece of her he had left. Since then, the child had been everything to him, his hope, his reason to keep going. And now, he was about to lose him too. "Time of death," one doctor said quietly, lowering his head. The man staggered back. No, that's not possible," he whispered, his voice shaking. "He's all I have left." The room was heavy with silence. Even the nurses looked away, unable to meet his eyes. Near the entrance, unnoticed by everyone, stood a young boy. His name was Daniel. Daniel was homeless, thin, barefoot, and dressed in worn-out clothes. He had slipped into the hospital quietly, hoping to find something to eat or a place to rest. But what he saw instead made him stop, his eyes fixed on the lifeless baby. Something didn't feel right. "They're giving up," he murmured softly. Before anyone could notice, Daniel stepped forward. "Hey, you can't be here," a nurse snapped when she finally noticed him. But Daniel didn't stop. Before anyone could react, he rushed to the bedside and gently lifted the baby into his arms. "What are you doing?" a doctor shouted in shock. The billionaire turned sharply, anger flashing in his eyes. "Get him away from my son." For a brief second, everything around him faded. A memory surfaced in his mind. A priest standing in a small church, gently pouring water over a baby, speaking with calm authority. Baptism. He carried the baby straight to a nearby sink and turned on the tap. Cold water rushed out, splashing over the baby's tiny body as Daniel held him carefully. "Stop him," one of the doctors yelled, stepping forward. But something about Daniel's urgency, his focus, made them hesitate. He wasn't panicking. He believed. Water continued to pour over the baby as Daniel's lips began to move, his voice trembling but firm. "Lord, I dedicate this baby to you. Please let him breathe." The room fell silent. Only the sound of water filled the air. Everyone watched, frozen between shock and hope. Then, a small cough. The baby's body jerked in his arms. He moved. A nurse gasped. Another cough followed, stronger this time. "He's breathing," a doctor shouted. And in that moment, life returned. In seconds, the room burst back into action. Doctors rushed forward, taking the baby, reconnecting machines, checking his pulse. The billionaire collapsed into a chair, tears streaming down his face this time, tears of relief. And Daniel? He quietly stepped back, unnoticed again. The hospital was filled with confusion and awe. "This is impossible," one doctor said. "We had already lost him, but he's stable now," another replied. Something restarted his system. Slowly, all attention turned to one question. "Where is that boy?" Security quickly found Daniel sitting outside the hospital, near the entrance. He wasn't running. He wasn't hiding. He just sat there, as if nothing had happened. They brought him back inside. This time, everyone was looking at him. The billionaire approached slowly. His expression had changed, no longer anger, but gratitude. "You saved my son," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. Daniel looked down. "I just did what I knew." "How did you know what to do?" A doctor asked. Daniel was quiet for a moment, then spoke softly. I once saw a pastor baptize a baby, he said. He poured water gently and prayed, saying the child now belonged to God. Everyone listened closely. He said something I never forgot, Daniel continued. He said, now this child belongs to God. His life is in God's hands. The room fell silent. Daniel looked down at his hands. So when I saw the baby, I didn't know all the medical things, he admitted. But I remembered those words. I believed if I gave him to God, God would fix what we couldn't. No one spoke. All their training, all their machines, and yet it was the simple faith of a boy that had acted when everyone else froze. The billionaire slowly knelt in front of him. Do you have a family? He asked gently. Daniel shook his head. Where do you live? On the streets. The man took a deep breath, his eyes softening. My son, he said quietly, glancing toward the room where the baby lay recovering, is all I have left of my wife. I thought I had lost him today. He looked back at Daniel. But you gave him back to me. Daniel said nothing. From today, the billionaire continued, you won't be alone anymore. Daniel looked up, confused. I want to take care of you. Give you a home, education, a better life. Daniel hesitated. Life had taught him to doubt promises. Why? He asked softly. The man smiled, tears still in his eyes. Because you saved my son. And maybe this is my chance to save yours. For the first time, Daniel smiled. Months later, everything had changed. The baby grew stronger each day. Daniel started school, wore clean clothes, and slept in a real bed. But he never forgot where he came from. Sometimes he would visit the hospital not as a stranger, but as someone who had once reminded everyone that miracles don't always come from machines or titles. Sometimes they come from the most unexpected people. Moral of the story: never judge people by their appearance or status. Greatness, wisdom, and courage can come from anywhere, and one small act of kindness can change many lives forever.